let's start the show. We're starting the show. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to kill that light real quick. Just give me a second. I got too much stuff in my house. There's too many things down here. Too many things down here. Hey, what's up? Welcome back, everybody. My name's Tim. This is the Corvus Cast, where the jokes... where the host isn't funny. The host isn't pretty, the jokes aren't funny, and everything's just made up anyways. So it's been a really busy week, really busy weekend. Lots of stuff has been going on all over the place, including, including like everywhere basically. So I've got the cast stream up. I've got all the windows open and enabled here. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. All the stuff is good. Many things have happened. So first of all, for those of you that celebrated Halloween or Samhain, excuse me, Happy Halloween, Samhain, all that stuff. It's a great time of the year. The trees are changing. Fall is upon us, and cool weather is very, very close, which means we're going to be inside doing things. That means I'm going to be inside doing lightsaber stuff. But seriously though, let's see. I think I'm missing a light. Hey, there we go. The right side of left side of my face need to be lit up. I just missed that in pre. That's all that was. Been a really crazy day today. Took the kids out to go do like this jump house thing with a bunch of trampolines, and I'll be danged if it didn't take it out of me completely. So I crashed out. Sorry if my voice is rough today. I spent the last night after Halloween around a fire having some brewskis, and I'm a little tired out. Little hoarse too. No yelling, just hanging out and having a good time. So let's get down to Saber business. What things are coming along, and I'm sorry if this feels like it's a little disjointed today or it's like out of sorts, because I literally took a nap for like the last half of the day, and I feel really good, but I am no longer tired. I'm awake. My brain is just now getting caught up, had some dinner, all that stuff, got everybody fed, all those things. In fact, I'm so comfy, I'm so comfortable with you, I'm hanging out in my jammies right now. So it's going to be a good evening, really good evening. So we want to talk about Saber stuff. First, I want to plug the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you should 100% be in the Discord. I've found that it's my go-to way of communicating with people and staying like connected. I usually try to do like between 1 and 3 like Facebook posts, and if I see your posts or you tag me in your Facebook posts, which I would recommend doing, so I can see it and have visibility. But the best place to get a hold of me and talk to me is in the Discord. So if you're seeing this video and you're deciding you want to come talk to me, come hit the Discord. If you don't have it, it's just like a chat room like MIRCQ or IRCQ or MIRC used to be back in the day. It's one of those classic formats that just is really easy for me to communicate with people. So do me a solid, come out, hit the Discord. Having more people around is good. And it makes the chats more lively, and we have a lot of people, a lot of things to chat about, and you get insights into all the things that are in development, and you get early views and looks. So it's just one of those opportunities for me to be closer to my customers and stay engaged and communicate with them. I know that sometimes it's difficult to stay in communication with people. So I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page when they want to come and look at my stuff. So, I really appreciate you guys being here and out here and in the community and doing all the things that we do, coordinating and and coming together to make really cool things. So yeah, let's see here. Just looking in the Discord really fast. Everybody's saying it's going to be good. So I guess I got to pull one out tonight to make this a good cast. Just give me 1 second here. I'm down here in the chat. I'm trying to keep my eyes open on both the chat view and the Discord so that I can see everybody chiming in when they want to talk and do the stuff. And so I've got both of them open. Everything is functioning all nominally and working. So I'm hoping everybody gets a chance to see it. Yeah. Perfect. So getting readjusted here. So yeah, this week, the last actually 2 weeks have been crazy. I got a lot of really cool developments. So first off, the things that are coming or have been delivered are these guys, right? I don't even say delivered, but These are new developments. Sorry about the band-aid. I got a little owie on my finger, not from my lightsaber last night, but these things are coming here pretty quick. They just went to production this last week, so I've got the what I'm calling the Menace for now. Menace emitter. It's probably going to be emitter type 2, and then these little guys here, which are new developments. They are knurled body extensions or knurled body segments. So I'm really excited about them. I had them out last night and I was spinning them around, and I'll be danged if they are not very spicy. They bite pretty hard into your fingers, and so the injury to my finger was not from that. It was more so from something else. But the comfort level of these are pretty intense. You know, like knurling is intended to get grip on your hand. And so having it in a sparing capacity is pretty good, especially up here at the tip of the emitter, which I really like. And being able to interchange these two lids is pretty cool. So some pretty neat stuff coming. They're going into production right now, and they should be ready right around like Thanksgiving time frame. I don't know if it'll be for Black Friday, but it will be around that time frame, probably the last week of November. So really excited to get them out here and get them into people's hands. I know that there's people chomping at the bit to see them, to get a hold of them and play with them. So I wish I had gotten more samples so I could push out to the community, but the sample costs are just a little bit high for being able to do something like that. But in the future state of Corvus Saber Foundry, I want to be able to get a small batch of samples to send out for product testing so people can get their hands on them and play with them just a little bit. I don't know what that looks like. There might be like a lottery or a raffle or something. I say future state, I'm talking like way into the future here. So yeah, it could be a thing very soon. I can't tell if you guys can see, but I left my door open back over here behind my shoulder, and hopefully the heater doesn't come on and get too loud, because I don't want to get up and turn it off. So let's see here. We're talking about the new devs, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over to one of the other screens here really quick, and that way you guys can see what I have in my screen really fast. Whoops, that's not the one. There we go. I think you have it right now. I thought that I was showing you my actual face screen, this screen, not the other screen. So anyways, we're in the space. These three items are what went to sample. I'm sorry, these three items are what went to production right now. So I've got this knurled ring here, and this lower piece is about 2 1/4 millimeters worth. And so if you use an accent ring, the accent ring will not fully cover all of the lower portion of it. And so if you flip the accent ring to the long end, it will then cover that piece. And make the lower, it actually looks really cool when you peek it. I had a couple of sample builds while I was playing around with it, and moved some pieces around and made it look really cool. So I'm really excited about these. I'm expecting to see at least, hey Ron, what's up, dude? I'm expecting to see at least some type 2s and potentially type 3s with some knurling, and they'll probably be like one end of the type 2 or 3 knurling, and not like the entirety of the body, because I think that might be overkill maybe. I have to play around with some designs on it, but this is where we're at right now. And this last piece here is what has been termed the Menace. I've called it the Menace, but it's not the Menace really. It's actually different. It has more things here, and it's got a little bit of contouring here in these places, so it kind of has a nice curve to it. So it's almost a mix between the Monarch, not the Monarch, actually. Yeah, maybe. No, that's not it. I can't think of it. Fire Sabers has one. It's called the Crown. It's actually a mix between the Crown and the Menace. So it's kind of in between the two. I think that I like it almost as much. It has some vibes where it could be Jedi-like. It has some vibes where it could be Sithy. So it's all of those things. Hey, welcome everybody. I see 4 viewers on. This is more than we've had in a couple weeks. I'm pretty excited to see everybody in the chat. I didn't put out a Facebook message. Dang it. I forgot to do that. That's kind of a failing on my part. I've been really busy. Just keep forgetting to do some of that stuff. So yeah, the Menace here is a pretty cool one. I really like it. It seems it's gotten a really good response. Everybody likes it too. Um, so pretty jacked about having all of these out here. And then I'm going to zoom all the way out, and we'll go back down into another space here. And this is what is currently up for sample. This is the Monarch palmeter. And so you can kind of see it has a shape that's pretty similar to the Monarch pommel here. And I've got one in front of my face down here on screen. And you can kind of see the profile. It's a little bit aggressive here. There's kind of a bite in between that space. I'm not really as big a fan of that. I like it a little bit more smooth. And so I did my own twist on this. But the outside diameter is the same. It's 50 millimeters, and I'm pretty sure that the outside diameter on the biggest flange for the Monarch, if you didn't know, the Monarch has two flanges, and there's one that's bigger and one that's smaller. So the outside diameter on the bigger of the two is right at, gosh darny, what's it doing here? Zero that thing out. It's right at 50 millimeters. So the palmeter that I've got designed here is at 50 millimeters, so it's the exact same size, and it's actually smaller than what you get with the current version, the first flange, the Type 1 flange. I think the Type 1 flange is like 52. I'm going to check it right now while I have this here. Beep. Yep, the Type 1 flange is 52 millimeters. So it's a really nice size, and I'm looking at maybe increasing the size on a couple of these flanges up towards 54 to make it even bigger, more like a Suba. I don't want to say more like a Suba, but a little bit bigger all the way across. I'm not sure what that means or bodes for comfort, but from the feedback that I've gotten so far based on the current Type 1 flange, I'm really happy with the sizes that we're putting out. So more of that to follow. Some cool embellishments here on the front, and I'm looking to do some more of this to differentiate some of my parts from other bits. So I think you'll see more of this kind of not this type of shape, but more of this type of embellishment on the face of these emitters, so that it looks pretty cool and there's some neat embellishment. And then over here on this left hand side, you guys kind of beat me up really bad about it. And I don't take it offense to it or anything, but like I got a lot of feedback from everybody in the Discord about what they wanted to see. And to be honest with you, I think that this emitter tip is an important one to have, but it wasn't in the list of emitter tips that was in the Discord survey that I put out. So when I start getting around to asking customers what they want, I'll put out Discord surveys. If you're part of the Discord, you get input. If you're not part of the Discord, you don't get input. And so I've talked about this previously. Get in the Discord. Let's see you. Let's talk about it. We'll have discussions, and we'll figure out what you guys want. And so everybody in the Discord was kind of unanimous in that they wanted this this emitter tip to look this way. So it's just a basic flat tip, and it's really designed primarily to work really well with these with the emitter flanges. And so I'll just grab it and I'll show you how it's going to fit in there. You guys have already seen the other tips. Let's get this thing highlighted the right way. There we go. And get it pulled over into the space that I want it to be in here, if I can get it to fit. There. We're pretty close, I think. I'm just goofing around now, moving stuff and playing. All right. So that is the tip on the end, and this is all primarily to be this is a necessity, right? You need it for blade retention, and so you have to be able to accommodate at least a modicum of threads to be able to do that. And I know that other Saber companies do their emitter retention rings just like this. They have a tiny little bit of material here. This is plenty. This is like almost 2 millimeters worth of material between here. Capable of supporting it and doing all the things that need to be done. And if you ever strip one of them out, you can just use one of the other ones. So it's not really a huge deal. And I think that they're probably going to be about the same price. I would imagine they'll be about the same price, or maybe a little bit less than some of the weaker adapters, like the small, not I won't say weaker, but like the lesser adapters, the smaller versions of the adapters. So I'd imagine right around like $9 or $10 for this thing. If you hear a bunch of banging and slamming above me, that is my kids wrestling in the living room. I cannot keep them quiet when I do my stream. My wife tries really hard, but craziness happening up there. It sounds like the dog's barking, everything's going wild. So if you hear that, just know I live in a madhouse. We're all mad here. So yeah, you'll kind of see this coming in the next couple of weeks. I would anticipate samples within 2, so we'll shoot for like the 14th of November, and then these 2 parts will probably release sometime in the mid part of December, and then this is kind of moving from the new productions conversation into like what the future is. I already have another 4-pack of parts that I'm intending to get produced here pretty soon, and so that 4-pack of parts is a set of adapters, the first of which you guys have already seen. Let me see if I can track it down here. Yep. The first of which you've already seen, which is this adapter right here. This is the angled adapter. It's a smaller version of the current angled choke. And so I've had a lot of feedback from you guys too about the chokes, and so I have another version of the current large choke in a smaller version, and then this version. So we'll have kind of like 3-stepped versions of chokes available for people to use in between parts or among parts or as body segments, all of those things. So I'm really excited about getting those kind of kicked out. I don't like having my face down here because I keep looking at myself. I should be looking up here at you guys. Really excited to get these out, but the problem that I have is Guy Garage Machine. If you guys have been following along in the Discord, Guy Garage Machine is not producing as quickly as I had hoped. He had said 6-week development time, and that was to include like sampling and production, and he's just kind of dragging his feet, and I guess I didn't know what to expect from a small business that is kind of picking this stuff up as a side gig. It's unfortunate that it's not working out right now, but the fallback plan that I've got is I talked to my manufacturer overseas, and they said that they were amenable to running smaller batches of multiple parts as long as my original batch count kind of stays similar to where I was at. So it's a little bit more work for them, even though I'm sending them like the step files for these designs. It's a little bit more work for them to produce a smaller run of parts because they have to configure the machine, and then they run the parts, and usually they run a set of parts for a longer period of time. And so now they're doing multiple machine configurations with a smaller run of parts. And so there's a little tiny bit of cost. It's actually not as much as I thought that it was going to be. There's a little tiny bit of cost that comes with it. But the benefit is I'm keeping the same production time, but I'm increasing the amount of parts that I'm producing inside of a given period. And so for some of the parts that are over here on the wall, you guys might not know, but I've had like 100 counts of them for a while. There's some things that, you know, just don't sell very well, but I feel like we need to have them and have them available for people to use. Like a lot of the grip components, like the body segments, like the 4s, the 5s, the 3s, they don't sell a lot. And I think that it's primarily because there aren't a lot of other in-between options for those parts. So like putting them together with adapters or doing things with them to make them more interesting, people just don't see the potential of those parts. And so a lot of those items are on the shelf. They've been sitting and they're just kind of wasting space or taking up inventory. And so I've been trying to get them moved, but like the real benefit to this is I can start making smaller runs of parts with more numerous types of parts, which means in a given development cycle, I can do 4 parts at 50 counts that generates, you know, 4. Let's see, if I plan for a part release every month, I can do 4 parts every month for 12 months. That's like 60 parts, dudes, or 48 parts. I was like, I almost jumped out of my skin there. 60 parts is a lot of parts, but like 48 parts a year if I do it. The only catch is I have to make them kind of similar in size and shape. And so like if it's a part that's a 33 millimeter outer diameter and all of them are kind of basically the same, then it's not really that big an issue. But when we start getting into parts like this, you know, where it has multiple sizes and shapes to it, it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to, it makes it a little bit more expensive because the size is so much different. What I mean is, if I'm running multiple parts of this size that use the same material as this, so like this is a 52 millimeter outer diameter, the source material might be 54 millimeters, if I build a bunch of parts that are inside that 54 millimeter diameter space, but not smaller than the outer diameter or the inner diameter of this thing, then we'll be okay. So a lot of opportunity for expansion and change, to be able to get a whole crap ton of parts out to you guys very, very quickly, and kind of keep them small batch, I guess, like the small batch term, where if they don't sell very well after I sell, like if they sell out at some point after they sell out, determine how well they sold, and then I can like cycle them out and never use them again because nobody wanted them. I just think that it's a lot faster that way to do that thing. We're kind of at the halfway mark. It's like 10 minutes to the halfway point. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or want to field some live questions. It doesn't really matter, but start migrating into the space over here on my right, and we're going to take a look at some builds while I was like the builds that I was playing around with. Looks like somebody fired off something in the cast. New devs, they look cool. Working on small business, yeah, it can be difficult. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be eating too many tariff costs anymore, because it sounds like old Trump found a way to work through that. So there might be a small amount of tariffs, and it sounds like things are going to get better, but the market is still super volatile. I don't know what that whole thing looks like, but it's okay. Almost everywhere that I've talked to in my local area charges like double what my manufacturer makes, like what my manufacturer charges. And so every single one of them have said, I can't beat that. And the downfall, I guess, is if I want to make parts in America, I either got to do it myself on my own time, and learn how to do that stuff myself, or take it overseas. Or pay double the price. Otherwise, I'm just going to outsource it overseas. It's actually really easy. This process has been super simple. And the decision has been to just stay with where it's at. And if you don't like the fact that I'm not making stuff in America, well, I guess you have to sell all the other crap that's in your house that's not made in America. The camera, the phone that you use, the TVs that you have stacked on the walls, the cars that you drive. Globalization is a thing, and if you think that the only answer is to manufacture in America, I feel like you're kind of doing the world a disservice. There's a lot of opportunities everywhere. Just saying. Anyways, we're gonna shuffle over here. I'm gonna flip flop this, get out of that political conversation really fast. I hope that you guys can see me. Yeah, you guys can see me down there. All right, let me slide my mic over really quick and catch a quick drink before we engage this conversation. Okay. All right, we got a fresh, wetted tongue. We're ready to go. All right, so the first build here that I got, this is the Saber that I did for Halloween. It's got a really nice combination setup. I used the Hastati, which I really, really like, as my as my I guess desired emitter. Oh my gosh, emitter. My brain ain't working. Shrouds as my desired emitter shrouds, right? And so I wanted to make sure that I was working with that. I had it previously where I was using the Ren. You can kind of see it sitting right here, the Ren 2. And so I had used it previously, and I liked it, but I wanted to see something that utilized the Hastati. I haven't used it a lot. In fact, it's one of the lowest selling parts. Yeah, one of like the lowest selling parts, right next to like the Corax, when it comes to shrouds. I guess people don't see the value of those shrouds. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, it's a really beautiful shroud, and you can even take the bottom off of this almost. You can take the bottom off like right here and make it square, like right at the edge of where this meets. You could do a lot of stuff with it. You can even like angle this more. I don't know if you're keen on like modification stuff. You can see all the fingerprints all over this. I had a lot of people make comments on it. They loved it. I found a lot of Star Wars fans out last night, and I found a couple kids to duel in the street as well. But I showed everybody this, and I made some new I think customers last night as well out of this design. I'm absolutely in love with the shape of this, and I think that I really hit the nail on the head when I designed this grenade grip, because it's like the perfect grip shape and size to be able to assemble a really, really nice grip section for your lightsaber. But we're not here to talk about those things. We're here to talk about this stuff. So let me get this off here. You can actually see the part that's in here too is this. It's this. Oh, not that. I'm sorry. Gosh darn. Where did I put it? There it is. It's actually the angled emitter, or not the angled emitter, the angled choke adapter, or angled. The male adapter is a choke. It's the choke one, the mini choke. Golly, my brain ain't working so good today. It's all fuzzy. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off here, and I'll show you what I got for this emitter section here. I did have some timing shims on it, so we'll pull that out of there. Get them timing shims out. Nice. Ooh, it's stuck tight, firmly. Hey, and if you guys weren't aware, these holes here are for this purpose, right? Stick an Allen key through it and break torque on it. And I broke torque on the wrong one. That's okay. Nice. Man, it's getting warm down here. I did a bunch of work on my house the last couple of weeks, and I sealed up all of my doors. And so my house has been super duper warm, and I'm really excited to see what my energy bill is going to look like this year for the season, because it's been cold the last couple of years in my house. So really excited about that. I guess as an adult who pays the bills, you start to get excited about seeing your energy bills decline or decrease. So there's that. Woo, easy does it now. Okay, here we go. Got the piece there, and you can see on this end you have that little 2¼ millimeter. I can show you that really quick if I grab me a part here. Excuse me. You can see how it just barely covers that up. Perfect, so that you can see this in full if you wanted to, or when you flip it over, you can cover up parts of it. I've got a couple of designs out there that are in the Discord. You can see it where I was playing around with what this looked like covering these items up. So it's pretty cool. I'm having a really good time. I enjoy it. I enjoy playing with these things. Oh my goodness, that one got stuck real tight. Thank you for the knurling on that. That saved my life. A couple no-show adapters here, or a no-show adapter, excuse me, where that's at. And there you have it. That was the breakdown. So that's the straight knurled piece. I really love this one. I think that it's fun. It's been one of the coolest pieces. It's actually really comfortable to hold, and it doesn't kind of bite your skin the same way that the diamond does. So I'm trying to pull this up here and so you guys can see it, but it's so hard to see the knurling on this piece. It's going to be easier for me to get you a really tight shot with the camera to be able to show that. And you can kind of see like a line here as I'm turning it. That's a trick of the light on the aluminum. There's actually just a little bit of like a machining mark inside of that. It's not really that big a deal, I think. And when people start to put weathering materials or weathering chemicals on this, it's going to come out just fine. You won't see it. This knurling, this diamond knurl version is attached to the Whirlwind, or I don't say the Whirlwind, but the Type 1 emitter flange, which I also love. And if you put these together with a couple of pieces, you can kind of get something that looks similar to the current Whirlwind that's on the market, like I don't say the Whirlwind, but the one that Vire calls the Whirlwind on the market. This is the Clan Type 2, and if that's your bag and you want to get something like that, I think more importantly, this is the look that I was going for. Was trying to get something that could be close, but I could interchange elements if I wanted to, right? So like I really like being able to swap out the straight knurl for the diamond knurl and play around with that a little bit more. I think that this actually looks really, really good in this configuration, just like that. And so the positioning of that gives you the ability. Hang on a second. Let me move this around really quick. I just saw your comment there, Ron, about the lightsaber looking lightsaber. I appreciate that. Um, and there's no obligation for anybody to go out and buy more of my parts. I'm going to keep producing. Like I said, I kind of am operating inside of a like dwell period where it's kind of self-sustaining. So it's not really that. It's not a huge deal, but of course I want you to buy my stuff. That's important. But yeah, the build that I had put together, I was really, really happy with it, and it looked really, really fetching. But still, if you want to emulate some of the parts that are out there on the market, available from other vendors, you can do that. But the thing that I really like about the way that I designed this, and it's not like I'm going to try and break my own arm, patting myself on the back. It's more about kind of looking at how parts are assembled and finding ways to emulate, other designs as well. So like, I know that a lot of people want to have something that looks like a Saber Trio, but is is inside of the space of VHC, or some people want something that looks like a Saber Forge but still plays in the VHC space. And so I think that breaking up some of the shapes that show up on those lightsabers in different ways, so that you can still make something that looks similar or could be competitive with, is a really important element. I'm trying to find one part, and I think is hidden inside of one of the other these gems over here. Yeah, there it is. So I have it hidden. So one of the downfalls of this play zone that I've got here is I lose parts really easily. Like sometimes I'll be looking for something on this like mat where I'm working, and I'll just miss completely what it is. I know what I'm looking for, but I'll just miss it. It's just not there. I can't find it, and it's really, really irritating. It's bothersome to me because I can't find that stuff. But this is what I was looking for. This is the 30 millimeter, I think, or the 31. It's actually looking for the 31 and a half because the diameter for that is 31 and a half. So it might actually be this guy over here on the bottom. Yeah. So it's actually connected to this top piece right here. So pull this off here really quick and get it separated. Little tight there. There's a little bit of a lip on that in there. I think that I got it sorted out after I fixed the prototypes. Some of these parts in here are still prototype, like the first prototype parts that I've got. I haven't pulled out the other inventory items, so there's some tolerances that are a little bit goofy. But this is the 33 millimeter, or the 31 and a half millimeter. This is the 30, and the sizing on this knurling was set. The size on this was set at the same size as the 30 millimeter, 31 and a half, 31.5 millimeter adapters. And the reason why was to be able to do this. If I wanted to make this adapter inside of a space where there's lands that can like make it stand a little bit proud, I can do that. Stand by one. Sorry, I had to get some water. If I wanted to make it in a position where I could get one of these areas to stand proud, that's really important, I think, when you're starting to put pieces together with other parts, right? And yeah, when you start building these elements, you start thinking about how many parts are going into it. Like, is this equivalent to the current VHC band? Absolutely, this is equivalent to the current VHC band. Is it more expensive? Yes, it is. But one of the things that I've been like trying to convince myself about, and not even really trying to convince myself about, but it's more like convince everybody else that this is kind of the smart way to go, is because the variability that you get with these parts is allowing you to make more shapes than you've ever had available for lightsabers to this point, right? VHC kind of has some limitations, and it's a great system. It does everything that it's supposed to do, but you're kind of locked in on some of those parts. And so what Alloy is trying to do is give you and unlock some of those opportunities to be able to make some really cool parts, and unfortunately some of that comes at a little bit of a cost. Again, that cost can be subsumed in other ways because of the optionality that it gives you, right? I don't think anywhere else you're going to be able to produce something like this in the same way, and get that level of capability out of a single set of parts that can be used in other places to increase that build. Like every time you buy one of these parts in concert with the other pieces, you can get so many more sabers out of them. But anyways, my conversation about this is, if you wanted to take this off and set it to the 33 millimeter on this other side, you now have a completely different looking part. Yep, 3 pieces. Yep, slightly more expensive, but now you have one adapter with one kind of land in between these 2 pieces, and another not completely different look, but another look along with it, right? So it just has a lot of optionality and capability. I can pull this out, and now I have another single look. And that one has the 33 millimeter with the land on that bottom, please. And so I think for the knurled parts, this is kind of going to be the norm. I'm going to have like one side of it have like that land, I call it, where you can create an asymmetric look. You can create a symmetrical look out of it with another adapter, or you can leave it as it is and get the same type of asymmetric kind of shaping. And so this is just giving you an example of what that looks like here. Excuse me. So there's that, and then you flip that guy back over, and you got another slightly different look. And each of these will go in kind of hand in hand with the different like shapes that you want to put together. Let me see if I got some examples here. I'll play around with something here really quick and see what I can produce to get somewhere. I had this. I think I dropped this into the Discord at one point, and I liked it a lot. I thought it looked really cool. Yeah, that's how it was. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Do that. Ooh. Oh yeah, boy, that's spicy. That I think looks pretty cool. We'll stick this on here. Now you have a top end almost. We're pretty close to something. Pretty close. Stick this in here like so. Yeah, there we go. It's not perfect. It's not amazing, but it's not bad looking. I think I had done something with this other piece over here. One of the flanges, I believe, is what I did. I was playing around with the flange on it. I made something that looked kind of like this, which I was pretty fond of. I really liked that one. It's about the same length as a standard. It's kind of a standard VHC emitter, which is okay. There's your standard length emitter. All said and done, but a little bit more variability to it. So, pretty cool all the way around, I think. Let's see. We're at the 40-minute mark. A lot of stuff happening. Not a lot of stuff in the chat. Whoops. Just dropped that and took a nice slam. That's cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any more samples of the smaller chokes, like the mini chokes. Again, the guy with the garage and the machine has taken a little bit of time away from me on that, and so just waiting on him to come back around and either tell me that he's done with those samples, or I'll tell him that I'm done with that project and moving forward with something else. Yeah. Okay. Again, let's see. These are currently in production right now. These 3 parts are in production. You're going to see the emitter tip type 2, and then these will be variations of the type 1 body segment. You'll see them in the body segment space as well. And so really, really excited about having these in the collection. I think that they're going to sell really, really well. just because they are different than anything you're going to get on the market right now. Pretty much everybody's kind of doing bands that cross this way instead of things that do like this stuff. And so this was my first foray with knurled parts, but I will see probably at least 2 to 3 more parts in the near future with this type of knurling on them, probably in the shape of an accent ring or accent, not accent ring, excuse me, accent ring, accent bands, or even accent sleeves, which haven't been released yet, but are in the pipeline for creation after we get to a nice equilibrium on parts. Woo, almost dropped that one. Hold up. Okay, we're going to transition back over here to this other spot, and we're going to maybe play around inside of the creation space here for just a few minutes while we're waiting for the rest of the night to wrap up. So let me just get resituated here really quick, and I will bring the screen around. Let's see. Watch CSF's career with great interest. If you're not already watching me, man, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity to build some super cool lightsabers. I don't know how many people last night commented on the lightsaber that I was carrying, but also were amazed that I was making these things. Not that it's amazing or super duper fantastic, but that it's hard to believe that people are making stuff like this out there, I guess. I don't know. Let me get my screen pulled back. I realized I shut my light off and I didn't put my face back up. Don't really need to see my face so much. We're gonna go over here to the crafting screen here. So we'll go ahead and cut this off here really fast and kind of go look. I guess to give you a preview of let's see here. I think I've talked about it previously. So some designs that I've kind of been playing around with that I thought were pretty cool. And these kind of exist as just gee whiz fun type experiments where I was playing around with some designs. Were these dudes here, and these are probably further down the line for the emitter tips that I kind of enjoyed the shape of. I thought they were pretty cool, but still fit underneath of shrouding. And so I was playing around with how to get patterns for, I guess we'll say like perforated tubing. I'm not really like a huge fan of perforated tubing over the entire length, kind of like the Asajj Ventress Saber is, unfortunately. So sorry to anybody who takes offense to that. Unfortunately, it's just not my thing. I don't like. It looks kind of cool, but like, I don't really. It's not really something I like factor into my designs, in my personal style of designs. But I do like tips that are kind of like that, and I think this is pretty cool because it kind of harkens back to like a machine gun, like flash suppressor type or like a vent tip of some sort. I think that it looks pretty cool when you start putting it in combination with stuff. Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. The feeling you get when you make an impact on somebody in their trick or treat time with the lightsaber, people are pretty amazed by how cool the technology is to this point. And a lot of people are like, oh, I just got one of those crappy Disney ones, or I got one of those ones from Savvy's or whatever from Disney. And admittedly, they're not crappy. They just are lacking features. And I think that they were manufactured at like a certain level that makes it accessible to people to do. So like, people see something that has like really cool features to it, and then they're like, oh, I really want that. So yeah, I'm really happy. I really like this this emitter, this I don't say muzzle, like flash suppressor muzzle, whatever. I just thought it was really cool. It looked neat. I thought it would be cool to have something like that. This one is kind of meant to be an under shroud, like under a whole shroud, like a full shrouded look. For this piece, and so I'll pull out some other shrouds later. I don't know what exactly is happening upstairs, but I think my wife just suplexed one of my kids, which is kind of cool, actually. I think that's awesome when she does that stuff. Just one second. I'm having a hard time keeping my voice limbered up here. So yeah, this This one here was kind of intended to be like an under shroud kind of thing. Like you put this underneath of a full shroud, which of course I don't have produced yet. I've been doing other things that aren't shrouds. Whoops, that's a switch shroud, not that one. We want emitter shrouds. Actually, that's the wrong one too. We want dev shrouds. Maybe that's not even the right one either. You know, let's pull that one out. Let's grab a Kylo. This is one that I produced from a previous show, and I guess it's still not read it onlys. But yeah, hey, look at that. It fit almost directly on that shroud perfectly, or not on that shroud, on that emitter piece perfectly. So you can kind of see the beginnings of what that would look like if it was underneath of a shroud, which is pretty cool. I kind of like that. That's neat. Let me grab out another dev shroud. Some of these you guys haven't seen. I mean, some of these you guys have seen. You've been on the cast long enough. You know what I'm cooking with. So I'll kind of drop this over a little ways off the side and go that way. I think that's the right look. Not quite. So this would actually look better on something that's a little bit maybe taller. I'm not sure. I was hoping to do a more comprehensive full shroud. With that, it doesn't really look that good with the Kylo shroud necessarily, but another full shroud would look, I think, fairly decent. We'll grab the shorty. I got a short Graflex shroud that I really like, and it is made for a slightly different shape for underneath of it. But you can see that it looks pretty cool under, like with that graph shroud over top of it. And since it slides, you can kind of cover up your, the holes, which I love. And so now you got like a really super unique Graflex look that nobody else is gonna have, I guarantee you. So super, oh cool, it does fit. It fits almost perfectly, like right there. That's set your back screw to the shroud depth, and then cover up your blade retention holes. This is one of like the conversations that I haven't had really extensively with anybody else, which is the struggle for full diameter shrouds. And so you can kind of treat those shrouds like two ways, right? You can put on one of these sliding adjustments, which carries its own type of problem, because if you don't get your inner diameter tolerances perfect to where it actually fits over your parts with very little wiggle, what's going to end up happening is that screw is going to press against the shroud and push it, and so at one side of the shroud you're going to have a little bit of space, because you always have to have a little gap, right? So the other alternative is to make it with a centering ring in the inside of it, almost like an accent ring. But the downfall with that is now you have to either have a screw that centers it on something, or not centers it on something, but anchors it to a point relative to the emitter that's underneath of it, so that when you screw everything down together, it stays unified as one element. Because otherwise you could have an emitter that is clocked, like an emitter shroud that's clocked just a little bit goofy-like, and ends up making it not look as beautiful as you want it to. The other alternative is to change the shroud mounting for this to like a smaller, like M3 type size screw, and put more of them down so that it kind of centers it along those three. And I don't really want to do that because I don't like screw holes on my lightsabers. In fact, this type of layer is kind of pushing it for me, where I have 4 of them around these emitter holes, because I think that it kind of looks ugly, in my opinion. But it's a necessary evil to have them if you want to mount things to your lightsaber, especially at the emitter space. And so again, this center one here was intended to be an undershroud. It's kind of designed to be to go hand in hand with like I don't want to say Graflex, but with something that's whole, like a whole shroud. So you have just a little bit of peak that would be happening from underneath of this guy to the top, and this one again would require a different kind of configuration for your shrouding. Not shrouding, but for your shroud mounting. So you can slide this up here and get it to about, we'll call it that point. And it might have enough? Yep, it would fit. It would work. And so there you kind of have like a terminal end where there has a nice like I don't say dovetail in, but like a neck down into your emitter tip, which I really like. I think that this looks really stinking cool. There's not a lot of I think there's not a lot of lightsabers in the category or in the I guess in the golly, what's my brain working right now? Inside of the VHC space, they use something like this to create that look, like that step down look right at the emitter exit. Almost all of them are like full diameter all the way out because your retention holes are there at the tip essentially. So this kind of backs that retention down down the end a little bit and allows you the opportunity to kind of position this around. And if you leave it a little low, you get some cool detail from underneath of it that kind of peaks, which is kind of fun. Man, my voice is starting to fail tonight. And then this last one was just kind of playing around with some different shapes here at the tip. I like this shape, right? This kind of, I got two pieces highlighted. I like this flange shape that it creates on the top. It's kind of like hips or shoulder, you know, at the very top edge. And in fact, I think that I would like this better if it was just a little bit wider. I think that having it just a little bit wider than 33 millimeters would be really nice, but it limits what capability you have in using it with other things that are like your full diameter shrouds, right? Or the things that fit your diameter. And so if I slide this Graflex over, you know, you can see slide the Graflex over, you can kind of see another different look to it that kind of has a like recessed space underneath the shroud. You can't see it very well here. I have to zoom in quite a bit, but because of this is off the 33 millimeter diameter, it gives you a little bit of like backspacing behind here, and that's that like drama between parts, right? That kind of acknowledges back to the fact that not all of these parts were perfect fit to begin with when they were building all these props. And so there's going to be spaces in between those parts, and I think that that is what makes all of the lightsabers, like all the components that I build, kind of like internally, like system consistent internally, because there are gaps and spaces inside of there. They're all calculated gaps, but all of those gaps are there for the reason to create that drama and that look between the parts. And so I really like it. I think that that's you know, a really nice look with those parts just behind there, ever so slightly, just kind of peeking through it. Let me see if I can go find another shroud here. Some of this stuff I haven't played around with in a long time in the shrouding department, and I really need to unpack these at some point because it just hasn't been there. Oops, that's not the one. So I don't know if you guys remember, but this shroud shape has been out for quite a while. This particular shroud shape, it's kind of all over the place now, and so I don't really feel that bad taking it from the source material. But you can see that it's named Corvus, and I'll give you like one hint why it's named that, because another company decided to make a shroud name, or not a shroud, but a saber named Corvus, and so this is kind of a play on that. It's just a double Graflex, a two-ended Graflex. And I'm probably going to make it just a little bit longer so that this spans a little bit further, but you can kind of see some of the shapes that are out there currently in the community based on this kind of shroud concept. And again, the company is named Saber Trio, so like this isn't a shameful rip on it because I don't have any of their stuff in it, but this shroud shape originated from other makers inside the community space, like you know, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, of course. Like Nick Cohen, among others, they've made this like double-ended Graflex shape on a bunch of different shrouding spaces, just to give it, you know, visual interest from what the Graflex normally looks like. So it's just a riff on something like that with my universal mounting slot. Of course, for those of you that know or have been paying attention, the S3 Corvus Saber has like adjustable mounting slots that allow you to reveal the let's see here, the crystal chamber that they've got in it. So maybe it was an onus or like an homage to what I was doing. Maybe they were producing it before I started producing my shrouds, which I don't think that's true. But I had the shrouds like designs out in the market since like 22, like playing around with like ideas, right? But yeah, regardless of where it came from or who did what to whom for how many Skittles, at some point I'm going to be pulling out these full diameter shrouds, and I'm really excited to do something like that. So again, here's a simple look at what that would be if you hid that, or if you kind of left a little bit of it revealed. It might be worthwhile to like open up or expand that Graflex shape just a little bit more. I think that I have this scaled to the actual Graflex shape. I cannot grab the stuff for my life to get it to move. So you guys have seen this this Graflex shape again. Let's drop to another. Kind of have some basic slant shrouds that I had put together. We'll pull this guy out here really quick, and again, it's going to show you that kind of idea that you have to pay attention to which way you make these, right? If you make them as a accent ring, you have that accent band inside of here, and if you make it with the slider, you kind of have to deal with that design element and that design choice on the top. I don't think it's that ugly, it's just people might not like it. So there we go. There's a nice slant look with the with that machine gun type emitter tip on it. I really like that. I think that looks cool. There's plenty of examples kicking around in the community of stuff like that. Let me grab this thing and move it along. There we go. Again, yeah, this one is just not quite there. But again, you can see that peeking from underneath. You would have to come up with another mounting solution for this end. It's not going to be perfect in this spot, or I just bump this up a little bit further. Yeah, I appreciate that, John. That's, or I guess OMG is probably the right name there. I appreciate the positive sentiment there. It's definitely a nice thing to know that people are looking at. So, yeah, this one here is much better suited if you pin it at the top end of that or slide it up and down inside that space, but you're going to lose that like prettiness underneath of it. So, yeah, it's whatever. I'm not totally sold on it. I probably have to do a redesign on this emitter shroud. I just deleted that off of there. Why did I do that? I probably have to do a redesign on that shroud to get it back to where I want it, or to the position that I want it, like in the right shape. And I think that this one will be, yeah, it'll be out of it. So that's not too terrible looking, I think. At some point, we'll release these shrouds. Get some new emitter shrouds out there. Get some new stuff. I got some other designs in here that I haven't released yet. This little short round, which is, I call it short round, but it's the sister to the Hastati. It's basically the small version, a small Hastati inside of this space, which I think would be okay. And when Skeleton Crew came out, I looked to the Jaja Nawad, which I haven't really played around with since it came out. I think I need to resize it just a little bit. But it's a really cool shape that isn't normal. It's not typical. And it would be really cool to have this in like a larger version that's just a little bit longer. So this end would be, out here, which would be kind of cool. A guard shroud. Well, oh, you want to see the not Imperial Guard, the Jedi Guard, not Jedi Guard, Temple Guard shroud. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look around and see what I could get out of that. But I think the embellishment might be a little bit outside of my space. I know that there's some I think that there's some stuff inside of that shape, inside of the Temple Guardian shape, that I would have to play around with to be able to get to where where you want it to go. But I could get there. It just wouldn't be colored. That's the downfall, I think. Yeah, a couple of things in the design space, and again, nothing ever stops with the design. I'm always like spending probably 2 to 3 nights a week just doing designs. And some of it comes from inspiration in the community, and some of it comes from the old nugget up here. Say, hey, this looks like it would be pretty cool. But of course, the best designs and the best looks, kind of come from other similar creators in the community. And so I got to give props to those guys that are out there that are creating all these things, and making it easy for me to make stuff that looks kind of close but not exact. Oh, geez. I think that we're at the end. I've got the 9 o'clock mark. I've been talking for an hour. People have dropped off. Things are slowing down. It is time to wrap up. I want to say thank you all for your attendance and time. It's been great. It's been a lot of good time introducing you guys to the new parts that we've got in dev, new parts that are in production. I'm looking forward to getting them to you soon. Let's see here. I think that's going to be the end of the show. Let's go ahead and cut this off here really quick. If you're not in the Discord, come check out the Discord. Let's get in there. Let's have a conversation and have discussions, and start making more new cool parts. I'm probably going to put out another survey towards the beginning of the year for like what parts you guys want to see coming next. And so after these emitter sections are done and I get a set of parts in Edgewise, I want to work one more set of parts, and then I'll hit you guys up for your next design ideas that you want to see. And then we'll start making those too. And hopefully that will be in, say, let's shoot for like January, February timeframe. And the reason I say that is there's some important timeline elements that we need to talk about. And I probably save it for maybe the next cast, because I'm over time, but and I'm almost out of voice. But keep in mind, in February is Lunar New Year, and so there's a long shutdown that happens. It's about 3 to 4 weeks of time, and so the next time that I would talk to my manufacturer would be like March. So my goal is to have a rapid flurry set of parts introduced and designed for that period of time, so that I can continue to release new parts and keep interest high, as well as cover that gap in time. And so you might not see a ton of extra parts coming. You might see like two part releases for the next couple of months as we go forward, and that all just to cover for the downtime that Lunar New Year happens. And that way, when we come back, the new parts it will be producing when you guys come back. The idea is before Lunar New Year, submit designs for when they come back from Lunar New Year, so that we get not instant, but samples immediately following the new year, and then new parts into the new year within a couple of weeks. So we'll have enough parts built up to produce and still have outputs during the downtime of the holiday seasons, and account for Lunar New Year this year, so we don't have that dwell that happened in February of last year. So that's the game tonight. That was the plan. That's the discussion. That's the wrap. I'm done. I think I'm done. Let's go ahead and finish this show. My name's Tim. This was the Corvus Cast. We're out for the night. I believe. Catch you guys later. Take it easy.